My name is Andrew Jacob Brown, founder of Confound Productions and producer of 6 multi-award-winning feature films. Our most important project yet is called After, an apocalyptic faith drama 8-episode series now in post-production. But we still need a lot of help if we want a series with the gospel message to reach a wide audience. Will you help us grow this channel? Let's get into the Word. What's going on, everybody? This is Andrew Jacob Brown with Confound Productions. Welcome to the After Series channel. And we are going to be doing a series talking about the end times and how it relates to the After series. And today's topic, we're going to talk about Bible prophecy. Why do we avoid it? Why do churches avoid it? And should we talk about it? And we're going to get into it right now. But first, I want to draw your attention to a scripture, Acts 17:11. Being like the Bereans. We want to be like the Bereans. They searched the scriptures daily to see what Paul was saying was true. And that's what I want to encourage all of you today from here on out. Anything that I say or anybody says, including your pastor, you want to search the scriptures daily to see what is being taught and to see if it is true. And so, after everything that I say today about Bible prophecy and from here on out, please do that because I don't want you to take my word for it. All right, so let's get into it. Okay, so here's the first one. About 28% of the Bible is Bible prophecy. That's about a fourth of the book. And we as a church whole voluntarily throw out a fourth of the Bible. We like to focus on topics like careers and happy marriages and family and success, which are all great topics, which are all great things. But it's not the whole counsel of God, if we're honest. We are to take up the whole counsel of God, Acts 20:27 says. And some avoid the Old Testament altogether, which is a shame because Paul, Peter, John, and even Jesus himself refers to the Old Testament. And if Jesus refers to the Old Testament, then he's expecting you to know it and me to know it. So the fact of the matter is the Old Testament actually unlocks the New Testament and the New Testament unlocks the Old Testament. They really go together. So let's not forget that. All right, number 2. And this one's an easy one, but it could easily be overlooked. Did you know that Jesus spends more time talking about the topic of Bible prophecy, end times, the second coming of Christ, than any other topic? I mean, if you go through Matthew, Mark, and Luke, and even some in John, he talks about that topic more than any other topic. So the whole Matthew 24, Luke 21, Luke 17, Mark 13, parts in John, he spends whole chapters talking about that. Now, you think he would spend more time talking about marriage and peace and forgiveness, which of course he does. But he spends more time talking about this topic because I think he wants us to get it. He wants you to get it. He wants his disciples to get it. He wants all of us to get it. And I think it's the one thing we kind of avoid. So if Jesus says, hey, I'm spending time on this to tell you, I think we should spend time on it too. All right, number 3. And this one's a brutal one, so don't shoot the messenger. There are a handful of things in the Bible that we should not be ignorant of. All right, and I'm gonna name some of these off. And again, if I speak fast, you can pause the video or go back and listen. So here we go. Several things that God says that not to be ignorant of. 1, God's plan for Israel. This is Romans 11:25. Spiritual gifts, 1 Corinthians 12:1. Satan's devices, 2 Corinthians 2:11. Old Testament pictures, 1 Corinthians 10:1. He says not to be ignorant of those things. And my very favorite, the rapture of the church, 1 Thessalonians 4:13. And there are some other ones, but strangely enough, these are the very things that the church is ignorant of today, which is a shame. All right, so let's do a quick recap. Why should we talk about Bible prophecy? 1, 28% of the Bible is Bible prophecy, and we should take up the whole counsel of God. 2, Jesus spent more time talking about his second coming than any other topic, and if he cares about it, I think we should too. And 3, there are things in the Bible that God warns us not to be ignorant of, like the rapture of the church and God's plan for Israel. All right, so let's get into the second thing about Bible prophecy. Why do we avoid it? Why do people avoid talking about it? Well, the hard truth is most people that don't want to talk about Bible prophecy is because they think it's divisive, or they just don't read their Bible enough and they think it's just not important to talk about, which again, I think is kind of a shame. Just because something is divisive, and Bible prophecy can be a little bit divisive, meaning there are different views of eschatology, and that's okay. It's not an essential doctrine of what gets you saved and gets you to heaven. It's not essential. but it should be a brotherly discussion, and I think we should be able to talk about it. Bible prophecy is the one topic where we learn more as time gets closer to the end. The Bible tells us that. On everything else, it doesn't move, it doesn't change. The essential doctrines of the gospel message are the essential doctrines. They've been taught for 2,000 years and haven't changed. So remember this phrase: if it's true, it's not new. If it's new, it's not true. Except for the area of Bible prophecy. It's the one area we're told changes, and we have a more of an understanding as the time gets closer to the end. When Daniel received the end times prophecies from God, he didn't understand them. He was confused. And in Daniel chapter 12, verse 9, it says, "Go your way, Daniel, and seal up the words of this prophecy until the time of the end." He wouldn't understand these prophecies because they'd be unlocked till the time of the end. But if you go to Revelation chapter 22, verse 10, it says, "Do not seal up the words of this prophecy, for the time of the end is at hand," or is near. And again, Revelation unlocks the book of Daniel, and Daniel unlocks the book of Revelation. They go hand in hand. And I think most importantly, Jesus himself says in Matthew 24, "Watch, wait, be ready." We are to be watching and waiting and being ready for the Lord's return. It's a responsibility that we have as believers, and what we're supposed to do is wait, and we're supposed to watch. It means we're supposed to be ready. It means we're supposed to be living every day as if he could come back today, because he gives that story about being the wicked servant and the wise servant. We want to be like the wise servant that was waiting and watching and being ready for the Lord's return, not slacking off and going down and living a life of sin, not thinking that the master's coming home. That's the idea. We're supposed to be watching and waiting and being ready, and that is a responsibility that we have as Christians. And I've mentioned this before, but 1 John 3 talks about we are to have this hope of the Lord's return. He who has this hope in the Lord's return purifies himself. So we live a pure life knowing that the Lord can come back at any moment. It's that imminence of the Lord's return. And I think that's how we're supposed to be living, unless you don't agree with Jesus. And again, I refer you to Acts 17:11. With everything I just said, be like the Bereans as they search the scriptures daily to see what I'm saying, to see what Paul said, to see what your pastor said, your friend said, to see what they are saying is true. I want you to look into the scriptures and dig in on this. And I believe the Bible was made for the everyday average Joe. It's not meant to be hard for you to understand. And I think that is an excuse that some people use as well. It's just too hard to understand. And so you don't need to be a rocket scientist or have a degree to really get into the Bible. Now, there are a lot of Bible notes and teachers and things you can learn from, and that's okay. But my point to say is the Bible is meant for us to read, and it's clear on that. And there's some evidence of that in the Bible, which I'll get into in other videos, but I digress. So my main takeaway here is I think we should talk about Bible prophecy, and that's what we're going to do on this channel. We're definitely going to talk about more Bible prophecy, different topics on Bible prophecy, and how it relates to the After series. So let's talk about that just for a second. The After series is a TV series that Compound Productions, we have created a faith drama 8-episode series about a group of survivors that have to band together to survive the last days. And we're dealing with characters here that have real problems, real world problems, whether it's abuse, alcoholism, anger issues, fears, and things that people can relate to today. And I think this is a TV series that the world needs today. If you really want to support what we're doing, because the TV series is made, it's coming out. It is coming out. But if you really want to support what we're doing and you want to get the message out there and you want to get the series out there on big platforms and all that, we need your support. And how can you do that? You can subscribe to this channel. Super important. We would like to build an audience and build our subscribers up. And also our followers on Facebook and Instagram. We definitely have an After Series page there. You can go check that out. All right, and that's all I have for you today. So thank you for following along. Thank you for getting into the Word with me. I hope that this brought some value to you. And just remember that this is not meant to be just a divisive thing. It's not an essential doctrine. This is just a fun, loving discussion that we like to have. And I'd like to get into more things as it relates to the world today and the After series in later videos. All right, that's all I have for you today. Give me a thumbs up, subscribe, maybe sound off in the comment. If you have a video that you'd like me to make on a topic that you would like to talk about, sound off in the comments and I would be happy to make a video about it, as long as it relates to the end times, eschatology, and the After series. All right, thank you very much, and until I see you in the next video, God bless you.